Getting started on YouTube is extremely easy to overthink, and that's because there are a lot of advanced tactics that people who have large channels can leverage to grow their channels faster. But what about those folks, those new creators who are all inspired, they hear the calling inside the corazon, inside of their heart, and they want to start to publish, they want to start to create, they want to start to be of service to an audience? This video, my friend, is for you. So what we're going to talk about in this video is what I consider the minimum viable YouTube strategy to get you going, to get you into motion. And the cool part is that's how I started my channel several years ago when I had 0 videos, 0 subscribers, 0 followers. I did exactly what I'm doing here now. I put my cell phone that I had on a tripod, I clicked record, and I began sharing an idea. And in those first videos, I was awkward on camera. I was very rigid. I was uncomfortable to have this moment with you. And the truth is, this moment with you is actually me sitting out on my property staring at my cell phone, okay? So there's this level of competence that you need to get to where you're able to communicate, to where you're able to share an idea, to share a story, to share something with a camera of some sort. And that's the first thing I want to talk about is the camera itself. Now, most people, when they want to get started with YouTube, they go out and buy all kinds of gear. They go get the professional lighting and the professional DSLR and the 50mm lens so the backdrop looks all fancy schmancy. Here's the truth. It's really easy to buy all of the gear. It's really difficult to produce your first 100 videos. And in my personal and professional recommendation, you are better off just using whatever cell phone that you have and start by just putting it on a tripod and get going, which means you really don't need that much tech in order to get started. So let's talk about bracing your camera first and foremost, because the one thing you have to eliminate is shaky cam, right? No walking around holding your camera unless you're doing shorts, which we will talk about here in this video. But you need one of these, and I'm gonna take it off first. This is a cell phone holder. I got a couple of tripods that we're gonna talk about here in a minute, but this is like a $9 cell phone holder, okay? It's got a little knob on top to be able to kind of like open it wider and tighter here. That's exactly what I have the current camera on, or my current phone on. By the way, I'm using like a 5-year-old, 4-year-old, 5-year-old cell phone. Like, this is not a brand new flagship phone. It's not an Apple phone. Just like a Samsung phone is all I'm using right now, and no microphone at all on the phone that I'm using. And again, I want to show you that like you can make quality videos, educational videos with the technology that you already have. Think minimum viable. I got like 7 or 8 of these, okay? So this particular one has the ability to, whoa, it jumps. I don't know if you noticed that, but it has the ability to swivel. So this would allow me to do vertical videos, which would work for TikTok. It would work for YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels. And then I can set it this way and I can tighten it down with the knob on the back, and it allows me to do horizontal videos like we are doing now. I prefer these ones that have 2 motions, but again, I have several of them just because I got one in my backpack. I got one on this tripod. We use them all the time. They're super handy to have around. Between $5 and $15, okay? But then this isn't enough. You need to actually get it stabilized. So there's really 2 options when it comes to stabilizing. This is like what I call a flexi tripod. There's another version that's called a gorilla pod that you can use. And these are great for shorts. If you set it on vertical mode and you hold your arm out, you get a really good shot for a vertical type of video. If you're doing these horizontal videos, which is long form videos, which is what I do for educational content, these could potentially be insufficient. I have been known when I lived full-time at an Airbnbs for 5 years as a digital nomad, I would stack up literally like end tables on top of coffee tables, and I would stack up boxes, and then I would put my little tiny tripod on top of all of that because I didn't want to travel with a full-size tripod. Okay, now this is the other option. If you're going to be shooting from one location on a very regular basis, like your home, for example, I highly recommend investing in a really simple tripod. This is ye old Amazon Basics. I believe this is a $20. You can even see right here. You know, there's no Movo, there's no fanciness going on. Like, I'm using very inexpensive stuff. I've probably destroyed 2 of these, but I probably have like 5 or 6 or 7 of them, and I'm notoriously hard on them. I throw them in the back of the Jeep when we would go 4-wheeling. I throw them in the back of the van when we go out camping. So like, they work really well. They're pretty lightweight, but again, it's kind of bulky. So, you know, when I was full-time nomad, I didn't want to carry this with me, so I went with one of these. But the big point is, find a way to get your camera, which is your phone, stabilized, and then you gotta just start. there are two other factors that you want to think about from a production standpoint when it comes to video. One is lighting and the other is audio. Now, right now you're listening to me. There's no audio effects. I'm not doing any post effects on my audio on purpose. There's no microphone in my camera. Okay, so my camera is arm's length away from my face right now, and I'm just looking at my front facing camera so I can kind of see myself here, and I'm just trying to really help you understand how I'm doing this. If you are on one of the fancy pants Apple phones, right? One of these Apple iPhone things, and you have a lightning port, which is the Apple only way to plug it in. This microphone right here is called a Shure MV88. That's Michael Victor Ocho, 88, right? The MV88. So this will give you a really good stereo sound. And what I love about this microphone is it literally plugs natively into the port on the bottom of the iPhone. Now, this is approximately like a $150 microphone, okay? So before you go investing in a $150 microphone, I think you should cut your first 10, 15 videos on the actual cell phone first, just to prove that you're actually going to stick with it, right? I don't want you to go buy a bunch of gear and waste a bunch of money when you think you're gonna be a YouTuber, and then you get all the gear, you get all confused, and you get in over your head with all the technology that you have to figure out, and you don't do anything. Like, that's the opposite of becoming a YouTuber. That's becoming a poser. That's not what we want you to do, right? I want you to create. I think you are a divine expression of consciousness in the physical form. You're a human being, and you have a message that can help other human beings, whether it's how to crochet, how to niche, how to race your virtual Sims better, how to do better on a specific League of Legends or Fortnite game, whatever it is you want to teach the world. I think we need to get that message out of you. So the minimum viable technology to getting your message out that's the one thing I want you to hold on to. But if you want to add on microphone, the Shure MV88 plugs directly into the iPhone. They do make a USB-C version that works for all the Android phones as well. Generally, it needs a little clip, so it would clip onto the microphone holder. The cool thing about the iPhone versions is it kind of like it holds on, right? Like I can shake this, I can move it around, and it's going to stay there because it's literally locked in through that lightning port. Pretty much all of my wife's MP3s that we record and sell, which is like the bulk of our actual business that brings in the bulk of our big time revenue each and every year, it's recorded on this. And this is not a brand new iPhone. This is like a 4-year-old iPhone as well. And we record it with these two things for our professional level MP3 recordings that we do. Okay, so we have our camera stabilized. That's got a good shot. I'm gonna line up a shot. I'm gonna be in the shot. I'm sitting on an REI folding chair, right? Nothing special. This thing's been around the country with me twice at this point in time. It's my camping chair. And then lighting is the last thing. Now, I chose to be out here with no lighting. There's no lighting set up behind the camera right now. And I wanted to show you the trick to outdoor lighting and to getting a good shot. So what I've done is I'm sitting in the shade at this point in time. The sun is behind me. Generally speaking, I would like to be in the shade with the sun behind the camera, but it's hot out today. We got a bit of a heat wave going on. So I just working with what I've got. This is on my property. So I just walked out of my house. I walked up right here, set up, and now I've got my shot going. You might not have quiet area outside. Now out here in the country, I'm up in the Northern Rockies, like, to be honest, a neighbor could come out and start doing target practice with their gun because everybody up here is like armed to the teeth and we all shoot, and target practice is kind of like something that folks like us do up here in the country. So what I'm getting at is I'm exposing myself to more potential outside influences over my video that I can't necessarily control. And that's a risk that I was willing to take, mainly because I wanted to show you how the quality could look, sound, and feel with the minimum viable technology, which is literally a cheapo a cheapo tripod, and then one of those cell phone holders. I went out and found some shade. I'm sitting in the shade. The reason you like shade, especially with a hat or with your nose, like if you're in direct sun, like the nose puts a shadow on or the chin could put a shadow on down here, it's not flattering, especially for women. Like nobody likes that look. But if you get yourself inside of the shade and then get your camera lens above your nose and above your chin, right? You never want the shot to come up from here. It can kind of give you like a little double chin type thing. You don't really want that look. So if you could have your camera at like eye level or maybe a tiny bit above you, but in that range, for me, it's about dead on eye level. So I can have this moment with you as if we're sitting around, hanging out in my yard, chewing the fat back and forth right here in my yard. That's kind of what the effect I wanted to have. If you do need to add on lighting, right, or if you do not have an outside space because you live in a city and there's a lot of noises that are constantly around, you don't have a space to record, then you're going to want to find a corner inside of your house that you can end up building out as a set over time. Personally, I used to just go start in front of a blank wall. And one of the great things about YouTube here is you can go on my channel and you can click all videos, and then on the all videos tab, there's a button that says oldest, and you can actually go sort by my oldest videos, and you can see, like, literally my first video was me sitting on a red leather couch in Hollywood, California in an Airbnb, and I cut video number 1. Video 2, I tried to go outdoors. I was at a beach, and then I was indoors on the hotel, and I literally started my YouTube challenge while we were on a road trip. So I'm just constantly looking for like a little corner, a decent area. If I can have a window behind my camera, that would be my light source, okay? If you need to add a light source, this is a ring light. I like ring lights. They do well. They do good things. You maybe have noticed some, whoa, if I don't drop my ring light that I like over here, you've probably noticed some Instagram influencers and even some YouTubers. You could see it when they got the ring light on because it gives you the circle in their eyes. My wife prefers a little square light that we have. It's from a company called Yungno, Y-U-N-G-N-O. It's like Amazon, very inexpensive LED lighting from a company made in China. She prefers that because she doesn't love the ring around her eye look. To me, I have that ring light in my studio. So when you see me sitting on my computer with a bookshelf behind me, that's like my main light. And then I have a window on this side, and other than that, I got one other light to splash behind me over there. But I think, again, minimum viable lighting. You do want to add some lighting if you can. If you can get multiple points of lighting, say one behind the camera over there, one behind the camera over there, what it'll do is it'll eliminate shadows. If all your lighting's coming from one side, you have that effect where you could start to cast a shadow on your face, which just isn't that flattering. So trying to get 2 lights going. In the past, I have used floodlights, which are like a hardware store thing. They've got a little cone, and then you can clip them onto anything. Or I've been known to go to thrift stores and buy 2, 3, or 4 separate lamps, and I just literally buy the absolute cheapest lamps they have in stock, and I would put them up behind my camera with no lampshade on. When you do that, you'll want to get lamp light bulbs that are daylight coloring. I believe that is the 3200 Kelvin would be the number, but just look for daylight on the box. They're going to have that bluish tone to them, and that's a natural light versus a warm light. I wouldn't want to light myself using those kind of budget lighting options, right? The lamp or the floodlight. I wouldn't want to use a warm light. I would want to use the cooler daylight lights on that. And that's like the $10 lighting setup, right? 10, 15 bucks. You got a few light bulbs, take a few lamps that you got sitting in the storage somewhere, or go get some from a thrift store, and you are away. But once you have those 3 factors dialed, right? You've got your phone is stabilized, your audio is figured out, and modern cell phones are good enough. And then you've got your lighting dialed. At that point, it's time to click record, and it's time to start creating videos. And this is actually the work of becoming a YouTube creator, right? And I don't think that, okay, so for most people, I do not believe they would be served to start with going through some $497 course or some $2,000 course to learn how to YouTube. I don't think you need coaching in order to start. I think you need to put your phone on a tripod and click record and make some videos if you want to start. Now, my friend Roberto Blake, who's another creator, I think he's a brilliant guy. He has this concept of creating your first 100 rubbish videos. Now, I started my YouTube with a 90-day challenge where I did a video a day every day for 90 days. Now, both of us came to that kind of conclusion that this is the right way to start independently. How or why? It's because reps matter, okay? So you need to create lots and lots of videos. You need to go through the motions over and over and over again. If you only make 1 video a week, you're only gonna try about 20 sets in the next 6 months or so. Now, I want you to try 20 different sets in the next month. I want you to try 20 different lighting setups in the next month. I want you to try 20 different configurations and ideas of ways for you to get your ideas out of your heart and out of your head into the camera. I want you to go through that process quickly so you can start to get a feedback loop going so you understand, that felt pretty good. Or when you look back, you're like, wow, that video looked terrible. I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to click publish. I'm going to put that out there for the world, but I'm really going to focus on improving this aspect of my next video or that aspect of my next video. And again, there's only a few variables, right? There's where and how you set your camera up. So that's the tripod. There's the lighting, right? Do you put your camera in a window and you got a big old window behind you and that illuminates you great? Once you know how you can get your kind of like minimum viable lighting going, you're eliminating variables. Oh, the audio sounds good. My lighting works here. My camera's set up. Then you can just leave all your gear right there. Now you have your little YouTube area. You might have to keep some stuff clean behind you to keep going. But now that you have your area, you can go 100% focus on how do I deliver ideas in a way that are coherent, that are clear, that keep people engaged, that actually communicate what I want to communicate. And the truthful answer is lots and lots of practice, okay? If you want to build muscles, you go to the gym not once, every frickin' day. Yes, there's rest days required, but this is why I do a 90-day challenge. So when I started my YouTube channel, I ended up actually doing 120 videos in 120 consecutive days. When my wife started her blog, she ended up doing 90 videos in 90 consecutive days. And that repetition in a very short period of time condenses down the learning curves. And you're going through a lot of learning curves when you start on YouTube. There's the shot, there's the set, there's the how do I communicate, and then there's that just simple idea or that simple thing of getting comfortable being on camera, right? It's not something that anyone is used to. It's not something that anyone finds easy until they do it enough times that it actually becomes easy and it becomes their normal. Now, I do not script out my videos. That would be way too much work. It would take way too much time. If I have any notes at all, which today I came out with 0 notes. I knew I was going to do this minimum viable YouTube idea, and I'm just kind of like letting it flow, right? I'm just opening my heart, I'm opening my brain, and I'm sharing with you as much as I can. If you want to stay structured, one thing I've done in the past is I will use like a little post-it note. So like just like the 2x2 or 3x3 post-it notes, or the biggest thing I allow myself to use is a 3x5 index card. And I'll write the title on the top and I'll write the 3 main points, and that's it. I want to just have basic reminders. I never want you to feel like you're in my presence where I am reading a script and now the script says, look up. Okay, back to script. Let me continue reading. Like, that's not engaging. That's not what anybody wants when it comes to YouTube. So if you're already well-versed in a topic, if you know what you want to share, if you know these ideas are inside of you, you just got to like start turning it on and letting it flow. I think you should publish every single one of them. If you need to later, you can go back and delete them. The truth about the YouTube algorithm is that no one's going to see your first videos, right? Very, very, very few people are going to see your rubbish first videos. And those that do are probably going to honor and love the fact that you're being raw, that you're being real, and they're going to feel kind of like blessed on your journey that they were one of the ones who found you before everybody knew who you were, right? I got some hardcore subscribers who've been with me since I had 350 subscribers, 500 subscribers. They've been viewing my videos since 2016, 2017, 2018, and they've watched this evolution take place. And being able to go back today for you, even if you're a new viewer, and go look at that evolution, it's going to help you so you don't run the mistake, and way too many people do this, of comparing your step 1 with my step 758. This is video number 700 and something. I think it's like 775 or something. But like, if you start comparing your video output when you're working on video 4 with what I'm doing, you're making a gigantic mistake, because I've put in 750 plus reps at this game and you've put in 4 reps. So what you would want to do or need to do if you watch a creator like, man, I love how they make videos. They're talking about my subject. God, that's what I want to do. I feel like they're so far ahead and I'm so far back here. Go watch their oldest videos. I guarantee you'll find that they came from humble beginnings too, because it's the truth behind every creator. So you need to give yourself that freedom to put out those humbling videos that will humble you later. My video number 1 makes me cringe. It is cringeworthy to me where I was as a creator when that video is. And now I leave it up as a badge of honor so you can go look back, so you don't start thinking that like I had some magical abilities when I started this. No, I just started and I was committed. And I knew I had a message that I had to get out. I heard the calling in my heart. I knew the divine wanted me to share these ideas about how you can create a business, an audience, an email list, an asset through publishing with the cell phone that you already have, right? Like, I'm inspired to get that message out. So I like that I have good videos and bad videos and videos that did really well and videos that didn't do really well. I'm gonna leave them all up, because that is a part of my legacy that I'm leaving the world. And that's the opportunity that you have here as well. You have an opportunity to leave a legacy. And in order to get yourself to those videos where they're great, You got to do those videos that aren't great, right? Before you can really work on form in a gym to make sure you're isolating the muscle correctly and you got all the support, you're going to have bad form. But if you don't show up, if you don't actually even try to do a bench press once ever, you're never going to get to good form. And that's what a lot of people are doing is they're thinking, they're trying to get coaching, they're going through expensive courses on YouTube. And I'm like, yo, put your phone on a tripod and make a video. And then when that's done, publish it, think up your next video, and as fast as you can, make that next video, and then do it again and again. And then the final note here is if you don't know what topic you want to be a creator on, okay? So for those who are blessed and that hear a calling in their life, I love you. I hope you listen to that divine inspiration that's inside of you. I hope you listen to that whisper, and I hope you start creating, and I hope you let that message out because our world needs it. That's why you're hearing the calling, is because our world is in dire straits right now, and our world needs your message to get out to the world. But then there's this other group of people who are like, man, I don't actually know what my message is, but I know that like the creator path is the path for me. This is where I think vertical videos are a great idea. This is where my wife and I, we have very good arguments about this, is like TikTok might be a good option, to be perfectly honest with you, or YouTube Shorts or Instagram Reels. Now, they're all vertical videos and they have a little bit of nuance behind them. To me, I don't think it actually matters which one you choose, but what they are is they're shorter. So YouTube Short video is a 1-minute video. It's a 1-minute vertical video. It's really difficult to communicate an idea in 1 minute. I've done 50 of them or so here. But what it allows you to do is to make 3 videos a day instead of 1 video a day. And then you're like, okay, I'm gonna make a video of my backyard chickens. I'm gonna make a video of my garden. I'm gonna make a video explaining how I make this recipe at home. And what you end up doing is you're doing so many different things. You're throwing the proverbial spaghetti against the wall so you can see what sticks. And then when you find something that was kind of fun for you to produce, you kind of like the output, you're like mildly proud of version 1.0 of that video, still knowing that it's going to be humble beginnings. But then you have that feeling like, oh, that was kind of fun. It looks okay. Maybe I should do that again. And then when you see the algorithms start to respond to certain videos, you're like, oh, okay, videos about this topic seem to do better than videos about this topic. And that's what I did with my 90-day challenge. And you can do that with these horizontal videos as well. You could try lots of different subtopics under your main idea to see what feels good, what's easy for you to explain, and then also what gets more views, what gets more clicks, what gets more likes, what gets more comments. Because when you start to create content that the algorithm favors, your channel is going to grow faster. Like that's just basic stuff. Now, I do have a very, very deep dive YouTube course. It's available 100% free here on YouTube. This was my answer to my audience who were falling into the trap of the greedy gurus. And they're like, Miles, should I buy this $2,000 course from Mr. 77 gold play button guy? I think you don't. I think the answer is no. I think you need to equip yourself with a minimum viable amount of technology, hardware, so you can actually publish the video. Then you need to publish your first 100 videos. I'll be honest, I think you should publish 200 videos as fast as you absolutely can. I did about 250 videos in my first year to show you, as someone who now has over 200,000 subscribers, like when I commit to a game, I take the game really seriously, right? I'm not dabbling here. This is my vocation. This is how I am supporting my family for the rest of my life. And I live large. I have a wonderful, very prosperous life with multiple homes in multiple areas. And like, I want to keep expanding, right? And so through that lens of my willingness to sit here and share ideas with you through the phone can be a very lucrative process. But if I don't ever get those ideas out, if I don't hit publish enough, then I'm never going to trigger anything. I'm not going to grow an audience. The algorithm's not going to trust me. Nothing actually works unless I hit publish. So taking that minimum viable approach. Now, once you've got your first 100 videos, once you've got your first 200 videos, and you're like, okay, I've got competence now. Boy, I feel like I could get a little more reach out of the algorithm. I feel like I'm missing something. At that point, if you want to go invest a bunch of money in some guru course, I assume that since you have a bit of momentum behind you, they will be able to help guide you better. But you can also just go through my advanced course here on YouTube. Link will be in the description, and I guarantee you that will get you most of the way there. So I just think that most people are overthinking everything. They think they need to go buy a digital SLR camera. They need to go set up some fancy set. They need to go get all this stuff done, and then they need to record, and they got to do all these edits. I ain't editing nothing on this video. I probably will go edit the beginning and the end so you don't watch me reach up for the stop button, and that is literally the only edits I'm doing, and that can be done within an app on my phone, and I will upload upload this thing from my phone to YouTube directly. And the fact that I found a minimum viable approach for me to get my messages that I'm hearing, my calling out to the world, means I did it. And then I did it over and over and over and over again. And every time I did 100 videos, 10 to 20 of those videos did pretty well. I would look back at the data, pay attention to what worked. I'd go try to do more variations and more videos on the topics that seemed like they work. And here's the real magic to how I grew this YouTube channel from nothing to over 200,000 subscribers. I've earned over $1 million in revenue on my business from this YouTube channel here that I started with my cell phone. You ready for what it is? I have stuck with it now for 7+ years. I'm about to cross the 8-year mark, and I've published about 750, almost 770 videos, give that in that range somewhere, in about 7 years at this point in time. And it is the persistence of me showing up over and over. I was sick, I showed up anyways, didn't want to do it. You know what professionals do in sports? They play hurt, okay? Life is going to slap you around. Life is going to knock you down. Things in your external world are going to happen. I moved into my Jeep at one point. I was literally living in my Jeep, driving around, because I knew I didn't want to live in that area I was at anymore. So I was like, screw it. I put a pop top on my Jeep. I lived in my Jeep. You can watch all those videos, drove around. I did not miss a publishing date when I was on that trip. Why? Because I'm a pro. And you can take that pro mindset from day one. And what do professionals do? They show up and they work. If you watch old Mike Tyson boxing videos, that dude came out with holes in his shoes, right? He was not pretty. He wasn't shiny. He didn't have the sparkly shorts. He dominated in the ring. Why? Because he just showed up relentlessly. It was that absolute relentlessness. It was that hunger for success. And then he did something about it. He was at the gym all day, every day. Max Verstappen is one of the best race car drivers in the world right now. He goes and wins a Formula 1 race. And then when he's at home that same night, he's on iRacing, dominating people on racing simulators, like the same day. Emmitt Smith was one of the greatest football running backs of all times. What happened after he won the championship? He's in the gym getting ready for next season immediately. This is what professionals do. And if you want to be a pro YouTuber, you're going to have to take that professional work ethic to the game. So why not start now? Put your phone on a tripod, get a little thing. You can go to a dollar store and get one of these little cell phone holders, right? You can go to Best Buy, dollar store, Target, Walmart. They all got them. You got some store in your area that's got enough for you to get by, to get going for 15 bucks if you need that. But the key to all of it, it's not the gear, it's not the set, it's not the this, it's not the that, it's not the algorithm. It's the big question is, are you showing up multiple times a week, 3, 4, 5 times per week, publishing content for your audience? Are you showing up for them? Because if you aren't showing up for them enough, they sure as heck ain't going to show up for you. But when you commit and you show up every day, or when you show up 5 days a week or 3 days a week, and you're really pouring your heart into making the most helpful, the most useful, the most entertaining videos you can, and you stick with it for a period of years, not months, that's when you're going to see the success that you desire as a YouTuber. I hope this has been helpful. I thank you very much. There's going to be some useful links in the description of this video. I will hand curate all of that for you to make sure you do have access to the next steps, I'll link to my favorite tripod holder, all those bits and pieces. Those will be affiliate links in the description here if you want to support the channel. Either way, I just hope you hear that calling. I hope you open yourself to that calling. I hope you show up and be willing to be a fool for God and just start publishing those videos, knowing that you're going to get better, and someday you're going to be able to look back at those old videos that kind of make you cringe like mine do now, and you're like, wow, look how far I've come. And now I get to leave that out for you as a way to show you the truth of the path, instead of trying to be one of those greedy gurus who's going to sell you a lie about how easy it is and, oh, the faceless hack to YouTube videos. That's all garbage. If you want to be a YouTuber, if you want to help people on this medium, you got to do one thing, and that's publish a ton of videos. Now get to it. I'll catch you on the next video.